Welcome to the Bloomington Metropolitan Planning Office Technical Advisory Committee meeting for May 27th, 2026. Thanks everybody for being here and everybody online. Katie and Pat, were you guys going to go over some of like the online protocol today, or should I mention that first?
Go ahead, mention it.
Yeah, so for anybody here who is a voting member online, please, if you are going to be voting, you need to have your camera turned on before you vote. And that's kind of the big thing there. Did I cover that? Yeah, I think that's good. So I think we're probably good to go. Should we do a call to order and introductions? Sound good? I guess I maybe did the call to order. Welcome to the Technical Advisory Committee meeting. Sorry, I got back from a road trip yesterday, so I'm a little bit out of it. I guess we can start with introductions. Maybe at the left, Ryan, would you be willing to start first?
Sure. Ryan Roebling, proxy David Hiddle.
Jane Fleeg, City of Bloomington Utilities.
John Baton, GIS Coordinator, Monroe County.
Kelly Whitmer, Monroe County Parks and Recreation.
Tammy Bierman, Monroe County Planning Department, Acting Director.
Hunter Jackson, proxy for the Monroe County Auditor.
Cheryl Gilliland, Deputy Controller, City of Bloomington, proxy for Jeff McKim, Controller, City of Bloomington.
Lynette Tavernier, Monroe County Highway Department Operations Asset Manager, alternate for the Highway Engineer.
Linnea Wellings, NDOT, proxy for Rebecca Packer.
Max Dyer, City of Bloomington, GIS, proxy for Megan Blair.
Amy Garatas, Area 10, Agency on Aging, Rural Transit.
And we do have one non-voting member online.
Great. Do they introduce themselves?
Go ahead, Sam.
Sam Tobin Hochstadt. I'm here representing the Citizens Advisory Commission since John can't be here today.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. With that, I guess we'll move to an approval for the agenda from May 27th, 2026, or today. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Thanks, Jane and Ryan. And is this going to be a roll call vote, Katie, or?
You should be able to do an all in favor.
So if we could get an all in favor, everybody say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, you need to speak into the microphone, Tammy. Okay, so we are good. One abstention from Tammy Berman, the proxy for Jackie Jellenexter. Next, we'll move to a motion to approve the minutes from April 22nd, 2026. If I could get a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Jane and Ryan. And again, we'll do a all in favor vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Thank you, everybody. And this brings us to communications. Am I going too fast, Katie? Sorry if I am. Okay. This brings us to communications from the chair and vice chair. Jane, I'll let you go first if you have anything you want to share.
I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
Cool. I'm not sure if, I guess I'll share this now. I didn't see it on the agenda, but I do want to let everybody know that the city is offering a really cool program right now that benefits from public kind of support and us participating in it. And this is the resident-led traffic calming program within the city. And what this is doing is trying for residents of Bloomington to fill out basically it's a really quick survey whether or not they have an interest in some type of implementation of a traffic calming program within the city. It's really easy to do. The main requirements of it is that you need to have 2 participants. They can't live at the same address. And those participants need to live within 300 feet of the area in which this traffic calming program is geared towards. And so if you guys are interested in that, I really highly recommend checking out the city's website. It's a great program that you can see the impacts of participating. That's all I have for communications. So I guess we're going to move on to communications from from Pat and Katie. Did I go too far? Mine?
Oh,
I think we're on number 5, Pat. Did I skip
oh, we're
something?
number 5,
Number 6.
number 6. Oh, MPO, I'm sorry.
Oh, I guess I said communications from officers and or committees, but that's not really, yeah, okay.
Six 6.1. Okay, I'm sorry. We've lost our script. Usually we don't plan this like this. Under item 6.1, Indiana Department of Transportation news release on single lane closures planned on Interstate 69 in Greene and Monroe County. I believe those are associated with slide control. There's a landslide issue that's always down in that area due to the type of soils that they have down in that area. Please be aware of that and please pass this information along. Item 6.2, we've got City of Bloomington's ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan. This is out of CFRD, Community and Family Resources Development upstairs. This comment period is open until, well, the end of this month, if it hasn't already closed. We were aware of this late, so we apologize for having it in the packet late. Please feel free to review this to make sure that City of Bloomington is meeting all of its ADA transition plan requirements. This is something the MPO also must have approved. The plan will be approved in a final form probably around the 1st of July. Item 6.3, memorandum is included in the packet on Bloomington Transit's proposed service improvements. This goes along with the public meetings that they had 3 public meetings several weeks ago. First one was at Ivy Tech State College. The other 2 were at Bloomington Transit's Downtown Transfer Center. This is a proposal which has already been passed at this time now, would combine routes 3 West and Route 13 into a single route. I think it's called Route 16 is what it was called. This was due to the fact that there was low ridership. This is an unusual route in that it is an external route, external outside of the city of Bloomington. It's under an interlocal agreement. It operates under an interlocal agreement where the Monroe County Council provides a subsidy for the operation of this route. The new route would have a 45-minute headway. In other words, 90 minutes all the way around, round trip. 45-minute headway, but it was Bloomington Transit. I wish somebody from Bloomington Transit was here. They looked at 7 different scenarios before they came up with this optimized version here. And the optimized version will operate at least a year to see how it does. Under the current routing system out to Ivy Tech State College, it was sometimes only a single rider per hour, which is just not functional. And it's not a revenue generating source. So this was optimized with a combination of other traffic attractors. Yeah, if you scroll down there, it'll tell you what the other, okay. It's got a whole series of traffic attractors there in terms of commercial service. And we received, all the meetings were attended very well, received very positive comments on all of the meetings. There was one concern expressed at the last meeting, but at the end of the meeting, that individual expressed support for the entire concept. So if you have any questions on that, please let us know. Go ahead.
Is Ivy Tech in the city of Bloomington?
No, this route is operated under an interlocal agreement because it exceeds outside of the city of corporate limits. And the Monroe County Council has funded this, and Monroe County Commissioners asked for funding for this, and the Monroe County Council approved this. So it's supported by Monroe County funds since it is outside of the city limits. Does that answer your question?
Could I ask another question on something you went on, actually the ADA transition plan?
Sure.
Sorry, you were going so fast
Oh, no,
for
you're
me.
fine.
I thought I heard you say that the MPO needs to approve the city's ADA transition plan. Is that?
No.
You didn't say that. Okay.
No. The city, no, we're including it in the packet for information purposes only. This is the draft. It'll be finalized by July 1st, and usually the first or second week of July, the MPO sends this ADA transition plan to the Indiana Department of Transportation and to verify that the MPO is operating in an environment that is ADA accessible.
So it's not required. The reason why I'm asking is that the county, I believe, finalized their ADA plan, and I didn't recall this MPO step. So not needed.
Yeah,
No worries.
it's not required by the MPO. The MPO provides it to the Indiana Department of Transportation as an FYI type thing to show that the city of Bloomington itself is compliant.
Thank
Does
you.
that answer your question?
Oh, always.
Okay. It's one of those check the box items that are mandatory that we always do in July of every year with Federal Highway Administration, FTA, and also with NDOT. Okay. Okay, next item, NDOT traffic engineering memo. You want to do that, please?
Oh, actually, item 6.4 is just a quick memo, as we usually do. As you know, we have a TIP document that has information on projects receiving federal funds through the MPO, and the document also contains transit projects as well that will receive FTA funding, but not through us. Those have to be in there as well. And so sometimes when we have a change to a project or the funding that is below a certain threshold, we do not have to bring it to approval to the committee. We do not have to bring it to the committee for approval, but we do provide a memo describing what change was made so that you are all aware. And so since the last meeting, one of the changes that was made was to a transit project. This was a project that was already in the TIP called Bloomington Transit's EV Mobile Chargers Project. So we simply changed the funding source for that project. We increased the amount of federal funding. This federal funding that they're receiving, I believe this portion is coming from some extra MPO funds that were rolled over, flexed to transit in a past year. They're trying to get all those used up before new transportation bills occur. And in addition to the federal share increasing, the local share also needs to increase. And the project total also increased as well. And so you can see the changes in funding in the table that's provided as well. Questions? Since the last meeting, there was also an update to a non-transit project that was made by MPO staff that did not have to be reviewed. That change was to Monroe County's Dillman Road Bridge project. Due to environmental impact, they are moving the bridge program funds and the local match that they're providing for the project. They're moving the right-of-way phase and those funds from fiscal year 2026 to 2027. So just an environmental delay for that is causing a change in fiscal year for the right-of-way phase. And in this case, this is not a use of MPO federal funds, but all projects that receive bridge funding through the state also need to be in the TIP and be, everyone needs to be aware of it, the local representatives. Any questions? Go ahead, Pat.
On the crash severity?
No, 6.6, the traffic engineer memo.
From Taylor? Yeah, okay. All right, item 6.6, which is in your packet. We have a memorandum from Taylor Rubel, who leads the management of the Office of Traffic Safety at the Indiana Department of Transportation, where he's announcing changes to the injury severity determination method for traffic data analysis. Our traffic injuries have been all over the place in the last decade due to changing definitions. And we've shown, well, it's shown a slight decrease or a steady decrease in traffic injuries over the period. And there was a suspicion there that the methodology had a flaw to it. So the Department of Transportation examined this methodology, and they've now adopted a new standard, which will be effective at the beginning of next calendar year. In the memo, you'll see there that it talks about historically Indiana's used the following crash severity for analysis: fatal or incapacitating injury, non-capacitating injury, or property damage only. The determination was usually made by the officer in the field, the state police, or the local law enforcement agency in the field, and made the determination on whether it was suspected or not. The new criteria, which the Department of Transportation, well, yeah, actually there's a table in here also that shows how the 2019, 2022, 2023, 24, and 25 suspected serious injury crashes, the numbers that are found on the state police data under the new, and there were always a number of errors associated with that. Under this new criteria, crash narratives will still be important as a part of the safety analysis to verify accuracy. However, they're changing the definitions. A suspected serious injury crash with injury nature of fractured dislocation has been clarified as a minor broken nose with no other injury or narrative. A non-serious suspected injury crash with an injury nature of a minor bruise was found to be unconscious at the crash site. The practitioner should modify this to document that change. A minor crash injury of nature, complaint of pain has been clarified. A property damage only crash would show no injuries, but the narrative may describe an injured person or another error. Crash costs have also been updated to a national standard. These costs, we've got some heartburn with the costs ourselves, but in 2025 dollar terms, the costs are listed there as $857,956 for a fatality. And then for the other types of injuries, that's been listed also. The number of years used in the analysis, severe crashes, since severe crashes are rare, in few years are used, the pattern of crashes has not been apparent. So therefore, the change in the definition. Under the updated crash cost analysis system, which is shown in a tabular form. I don't know if you can scroll down to that. It's a okay. I'm sorry. We'll get there. There we go. Updated crash costs for highway safety analysis. This is the 2024 costs in terms of comprehensive unit costs and the application of the costs and the processes. Under this new process, the Department of Transportation will have what I would call a more accurate and a more consistent definition based on national standards, and you can see that in the following tables. The bottom line here is that the number of injuries, suspected serious injury crashes that due to this definitional change, those numbers will probably change dramatically between the current year, 2026, and 2027, and then in all outlying years beyond 2027. Questions anybody have on this? I know this is highly technical, but it has to do with what we would call the most serious aspect of the thing is how do we report injury crashes and how do we report property damage crashes?
I've got a question, and if you guys can't answer it, that's perfectly fine. I can do some Googling myself. So this data is reported by officers as they kind of approach a scene. They're doing their best kind of analysis of the scene to identify whether or not there was a serious injury. They could also be, coming from like a domestic violence situation, right, and trying to figure out what's going on, right? So there's a lot of pressure on the police officer who's actually responding to the incident to get this. Say there's an individual who's in an accident. They appear conscious and everything like that. They're released, but then they go home or they go to a hospital for that matter and die essentially. Are these numbers going to be edited after the fact, or is it once the police officer enters that information into the database, is it just kind of static?
It's in terms of fatality, it's dynamic.
Oh, it is okay. So they could revise
in terms
this
of fatality. Yes, if they're transported to the hospital with suspected serious injury and they end up with a fatality, that is reported as a fatality. The problem came in where you had suspected serious injuries and the individuals involved refused to go to the hospital, refused treatment, and ended up later on having something more serious, such as a fractured leg or something like that. This definition also includes, this is somewhat grisly, dislocations, dismemberment. I'm sorry, I don't want to say dislocation, dismemberment issues, where those are now classified as serious injury instead of a suspected serious injury.
Yeah, I would probably say that a dismemberment would be a serious.
Yeah,
and
but
I wouldn't suspect it anymore.
But a broken nose is not.
Sure.
So, yeah, the difficulty gets into the narrative of the definition.
And then trying to, I think, categorize these after the fact, which is what you guys are doing with the crash dashboard and things like that to make this more logical.
And the officers are under a lot of pressure, time pressure, first of all, to arrive at the accident scene, to report the thing as accurately as possible, and then to complete the accident report afterwards. And sometimes the after report is days afterwards, and full clarity is not always there. And that's not the fault of the officer, that's just the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
They consider a fatal injury to be any injury that results in death within 30 days after the accident.
Oh. Awesome. Yeah, not awesome. Thanks for the clarity, though, or clarification.
You want to do the overview?
Sure. Item 6.8 is just a quick memo for you. We've finished editing the crash data. GIS is working on getting it up on the website, but we wanted to just provide an quick overview of the crashes in 2025 because people often ask for that information. And some of the information in this memo is not available on the crash dashboard, but much of it will be eventually. And so we just have some total numbers here at the beginning. And then something interesting we haven't really figured out all the metrics for in past years is the number of Monroe County, Indiana fatal crashes occurring within the metropolitan planning area, which is kind of the area that we have jurisdiction over as a committee here. And so 10 out of 14 of those crashes were within the metropolitan planning area, which for those of you who are new includes some of Ellettsville, all of Ellettsville and the county, some of the county and all of City of Bloomington. Next, there is some comparisons of fatal crashes and total fatalities. In 2025, we had 14 fatal crashes, although one occurred in a parking garage, which was not on a public road. So typically, we wouldn't pay attention to that one when engineers are doing and planners are doing analysis. But two crashes did have 2 deaths in them. Then number of fatal vehicle crashes, pedestrian crashes, and fatal bicycle crashes. You can see kind of the history of that in that table. Then next is a basic summary of each of the fatal crashes that occurred in Monroe County in 2025 and their location. And you'll be able to see those visually on the map once they're up on the crash dashboard. Next is a kind of a tally of the manner of collision for each of the fatal crashes. To be expected, the 2 crashes that had 2 deaths each were both head-on collisions. And then some language about the metrics and some of the history regarding the metrics of serious and incapacitating injuries is there for you again, and as well as a history of the number of serious injuries. The state uses incapacitating as their language, and on our crash dashboard we use serious injuries, but it's the same thing. And then last is serious injuries by primary factor of the crash. So we just wanted to provide somewhat of a summary overview for your information.
Katie, can I ask a quick question? If you scroll back down to the table where it shows kind of the history of fatal crashes or serious crashes, I think it's down a little bit further. It looks like we're seeing a really good improvement, right there, in terms of the number of just crashes and serious injuries that have occurred from 2019 to 2025. Do you guys have any idea? What is that a policy change? Is that some different types of engineering we've deployed, or are people being better drivers?
Well, part of it is what Pat was speaking to earlier about the change in software used at the state level, and the change in definition of what a serious injury is. So you can see here in this table that with using the Areas 5 software in 2019, and then they were transitioning and using Areas 5 and 6. Actually, that's an increase. I thought it showed a decrease, but the change in definition, it describes earlier in this memo how the change in definition and the change in software has perhaps caused some, the number of serious injuries to appear to decline, but that might just be because of the interpretation and of serious injuries. Pat, what else were you going to say?
I was going to say also with the adoption, with the City of Bloomington's adoption of the SS4A plan and the countermeasures, the 25 countermeasures used for crash locations, I know the city engineer's office has been very aggressive in terms of investigating all fatal and serious injury locations and applying a countermeasure as quickly as possible, usually within 30 days, if they can, 60 days at most. So you will see, and that's only been 1 year, 2025 and 2026, part of 2026 so far. But you will see evidence probably in 2027, 2028, where there is a measurable reduction within the city of Bloomington, mainly because of the aggressiveness that they've used for that approach. Now, the same thing goes with the Indiana Department of Transportation Seymour District. Seymour District and statewide have been very aggressive in applying countermeasures. These are the proven countermeasures approved by the Federal Highway Administration. Leanna, correct me if I'm wrong, 25 countermeasures, I think it is, something like that. But they've been extremely aggressive in applying those measures and also doing what I would call preventative measures. In other words, better marking of crossings, better marking, installing new stop signs in some of the rural areas, installing flashers, warning signs, devices, and all of that. Kudos goes to the state and to the local people in terms of how aggressive they've been on doing that. I'm sorry, Leanne, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I wanted to agree with you, Pat. It's definitely safety has come to the forefront, and NDOT is trying to, like you said, update crosswalks, replace signage if they've faded and people aren't able to see them, where it's causing some sort of visual inability to stay on the road or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's definitely a push, and we appreciate any cooperation we can get. So thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, and props to everybody involved with that for getting those numbers down. That's good.
Moving on. Just wanted to give you guys a few updates. I know this is hard to read on the screen, but these are some updates. And Lynette, you're probably prepared with some updates, but we just had a quarterly tracking meeting with Monroe County and City of Bloomington, so I'll just read what I have from those meetings, and you can add to if I miss anything. So City of Bloomington's High Street project, the right-of-way acquisition is complete, and utility relocations are going to take place this year, with construction anticipated for 27. The project construction phase does not currently have federal MPO funds through the MPO, but we'll be reviewing that today a little bit. The City of Bloomington downtown curb ramp project, there's no utility relocations or right-of-way required for their locations. They're waiting on environmental report to come back from NDOT. The city's crosswalk phase 3 project is doing design. North Dunn Street multi-use path is currently in design and approaching stage 3. They are doing right-of-way appraisals and acquisitions, getting going on that right now. College and Walnut phase 1 is doing the final analysis of the corridor study. The anticipated project construction date will be pushed out 1 year, though, at least, from the original planned date in our TIP document. The downtown curb ramps phase 5 project is doing design as well. They just issued a notice to proceed to the consultant. And Crosswalks Phase 4 is currently selecting a design, doing design consultant selection. West 2nd Street, utility relocations are in progress and construction will start in a couple months. The county's high-friction surface treatment on Fairfax Road project, their design plans are finalized and soil sampling is in progress. They are working on stage 3 documentation and there will be no right-of-way or utility relocations for this project. The Dillman Road Bridge number 83 project, design is in progress and the bridge will have to be closed for the next 6 months for environmental reasons, and they're working on stage 2 design submission. Old SR 37 and Dillman Road intersection improvement project, the construction phases will be shifting soon from fiscal year 28 to 29. And the right-of-way and utility phases will also be shifting a year up. No karst features were found on the property, and they will finalize drainage and detention in June. That road bridge number 79 is a new project. It's not getting federal MPO funds, but it's getting bridge funds from the state. This is the bridge over Clear Creek. And all right-of-way has been approved, and the last parcel is being acquired, and they are doing stage 3 design plans.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Is that the bridge by the post office? The little itty bitty post office?
That is, I thought I had the location on here. I actually think I do have it.
Ben says no. Never mind.
It's-
I'm good.
It's over Clear Creek. Yeah, it's west of
In the boondocks.
Walnut.
Yeah, west of Walnut, yeah. Okay.
The county has completed their bridge safety inventories by the required month, which was March. The Rockport Bridge, number 308, south of Bolin Lane, is beginning construction in June. And the Eagleson Avenue superstructure replacement over the Indiana Railroad, they are doing pre-construction meetings, and road closure is anticipated September 26th to July 2027. Lynette, do you have any other additions?
Thanks for giving the updates on the county stuff. For Bridge 308 Rockport Road, expected to close June 2nd. I was just going to share some contact information. CLR is the contractor. Travis Hughes is the name, and his phone number is 812-208-5875 if you have any questions. And this isn't in the tip, but we'd like to share that Roar Road Bridge is expected to be closed on July 6th, and same contractor CLR. That's all.
Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on if nobody has any other questions.
I guess we're moving on to new business then.
So for you today, we have, you can see what the resolution looks like, but Resolution 2026-08 will be presented to the Policy Committee this Friday. And we are seeking your recommendation of approval for these changes. I will go ahead and briefly mention that the changes presented today, this is what our fiscal constraint looks like with these changes taking place. So, you know, we've used all of the, after these changes, we would have used all of our fiscal year 26 funding, have everything allocated out for 27. We do, and then we will have some extra funds we'll need to allocate in the future for fiscal year 28 and 29. So the first request is to add a new project to the TIP for Monroe County called That Road Bridge number 79 replacement. This is where I have that link to the location if you want to look and see where it's at. The project is receiving local bridge funds from the state of Indiana, and then all other phases will be using local funds. The work includes removal and replacement of the existing bridge, as well as upgrading the bridge rail and adding a multi-use path with pedestrian handrail. You can see the funding proposed for the project. It's about $2 million. The next proposed change is to update the College and Walnut project in the TIP. It had been programmed to potentially be receiving funds in fiscal year 2029, MPO federal funds, but we'll be pushing it out and anticipating that the construction phases will be taking place in fiscal year 30, if not have to move it again in the future. But the idea is that they hope to do both phase 1 and phase 2 of College and Walnut corridor project in the same fiscal year instead of separate fiscal years. Because of this change, because the federal funds, the majority of MPO federal funds for fiscal year 2029 were being put towards College and Walnut project. So because of this change, those 2029 funds had to be reallocated. And so one thing we shared at the last meeting that we had a discussion with the LPAs about our plan on how to shift that money around. And this is the result of that meeting. So one thing that came out of that meeting was that the agreement that we would do a trade with another MPO. And so this funding chart for College and Walnut Phase 1 reflects that we've done a trade with MCCOG, an exchange. So we will give them $2 million of the 2029 funds in exchange for an additional $2 million in the fiscal year 2030. We also mentioned last meeting that the update for Old SR 37 and Dillman and the county's desire to move the construction phases from fiscal year 28 to 29. And then also having to move the right-of-way and utility phases as well. And so this change also released money in different years, and so we had to make funding adjustments as well for that. And so you can see the proposed new funds for that. Shifting this project from 28 to 29 freed up a significant number of MPO funds in fiscal year 28. And so we did an exchange with another MPO with, you can see that in item number 4, the update for High Street. In the proposed new funding table, you can see that we did an exchange with the Area Plan Commission of Tippecanoe County MPO, and in exchange for us giving them 2028 funds, we'll be receiving additional $2.1 million in 2027 funds, which will be applied, which we're proposing to apply to High Street project. High Street did not have any federal funds allocated towards it for the construction phase. So that is extremely helpful for the city. I know that's a lot, but at the end of all of that, we are still fiscally constrained with what we expect to receive at this time from NDOT and what we have proposed to allocate to these projects. And so we're just looking for a consensus on recommending approval of this to the policy committee.
I guess, would we have questions from folks first, if there's any questions? Seems like none. So I guess if I could get a motion to have a positive recommendation to the policy committee, is that worded correctly? If I could get a motion for that, that'd be great.
I move that this be forwarded to the policy committee with a positive recommendation from the TAC.
Second.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane and Ryan. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? And any abstentions?
Abstain.
We don't actually have any members of the public. Oh, we do now. But before the vote next time, do public comment. Yeah.
Sorry, and I guess we could open it to, if there is public comment on this. I can't see on the screen. I just see like the.
It's okay. They'll
Closed
unmute
caption.
if they have.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, I guess this moves us to public comment. If there is anybody here who has public comment, you can come to the podium in the room, or if you're online, this is your opportunity. I'm not seeing anybody in person nor online, so I guess we move forward. So on to communications from committee members on non-voting matters that are not included in the agenda. Speak now or don't speak. It seems like there's none. Topics for future agendas, if anybody has anything. I did want to mention that I really appreciated in the packet, the table showing the board membership of the MPO and the TAC as well. And something that I was kind of interested in, again, because, you know, the success of organizations or the success of anything in the public kind of sphere is that success is achieved from participation, right? And so I'd be interested, and I don't want to put a lot of work on staff here at all, but I'm curious if we could get like, or if it's even doable, some type of like a roll call tally of who's attended the TAC as voting people over the past like 2 years. Because I'm curious if there's some folks that we should maybe be reaching out to attend. Because I was looking through this and I see a lot of familiar names and faces, but I don't see a lot of those same names and faces here often. And I know everybody's busy and things like that, but these are important decisions. And so I think that would make sense for the TAC, but maybe for I think the policy is a smaller group probably. So that was just a thought that I had, but I'm not sure how much work that is to pull up a roll call thing. So I think from there, we're just gonna go on to our upcoming meetings. We have a Citizens Advisory Committee meeting on May 27th at 5:30 p.m., and that's going to be a hybrid meeting. We have a Policy Committee meeting on May 29th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m., and that's also a hybrid meeting. And then our next Technical Advisory Committee meeting, I believe the July one is canceled, is that correct? Or the June one?
The June one is canceled. There's a summer recess
Okay.
for the TAC committee. So the next meeting will be July.
Will be in July. Yeah, so our June meeting, everybody here, take your nice break. Enjoy the summer and all of those things. And with that, we are adjourned. So thank you everybody for attending, and have a great rest of your summer until July.